So let's start from the beginning, okay? Idea. Which idea worth kind of making into a product? Because we know once person has an idea, it takes years to develop. You mentioned teams, you mentioned product development, you mentioned all the right strategies. It's quite an investment of people's lives. So where do you think idea becomes a product in people's mind first and then in reality?
Yeah, that's a $1 million question, Irene. So it is very challenging in the beginning part of the journey for startup founders, right? But here, something they have to really think about. You really don't know, how do you know the health of your business when you turn idea into product? When would that really become a product is when you can start finding interested people to invest in that solution you build, you created, right? You start really seeing, as you mentioned earlier, start acquiring a customer. That's an indication, wow, you turned something into a product. But the product initially should have more of like minimum viable feature. That means that the feature is enough to be marketable, but then you're not going to overspend by creating every single all the bells and whistles into that. That's kind of how you turn that idea into product. But there are 7 basic questions you have to ask, right? What is your the problem you're trying to solve? Earlier I talked about what is your organizational strengths, or as a founder, your strengths. What are the desired business outcome you wanted to apply to the strengths? And what does that mean, right? If you have a team, what does it mean to the rest of the team? How do you find people with complementary skill set to really help you? So turning this idea into product is, you define that as is marketable, is sellable. It turns into a solution that could really make the impact you intend to make. You could be a nonprofit organization. Maybe you don't make profit out of it, but you would make impact. So either way, this turning idea to product is when the time you start seeing measurable impact or measurable outcome. That's when you know that you've turned idea into a product.
Beautifully said. Thank you. Thank you for this, Helen. So I'm very much interested in this very, very early kind of growth, meaning that, yes, you're prototyping, right? You have an idea, you're building your solution, however, minimal viable product, right? And then what is it? You're reaching out to the world, finding that first precious client that will believe in you, right? In this phase, it's not even about yet monetizing anything. It's about that belief.
It is, absolutely, right. So we all run into our early stage of stating our company. Sometimes you treasure those who make a bet on you. When you're not well known, you really you are trying to do testing, right? I'm very grateful for Microsoft, for example. I launched my CXO Spice Talk. They're the one that launched with me for my first episode of CXO Spice Talk, right? Ever since I started growing. So you always have the customers who really make the bet on you and invest in you early stage of your company. And that's how do you do that is really your personal brand is really, really important, right? When I say personal brand, is that as early as possible, you can consider how you are going to extend the impact your brand creates and include others in that to articulate that message. Your brand actually came before you started the company, probably even before you even thought of what cool tech, about that cool tech idea, right? Your brand comes from inside of you. And then it is your value, core beliefs, high mission, and expression of your why. Sometimes the companies wanted to bet on you, not because of your product, it's because of you, right? Because if you represent their brand, you have aligned value or shared value, they would make the bet on you to really, support you. They want you to be more successful, so they support you. So it's so important to have that brand created early stage of your company, and then you can hire other people who have shared value with you to further extend your brand.